Welcome back to Dad Life Fishing Adventures. Today I want to talk to you about what I bring when we take our family trips to Florida, and what tackle I bring, what poles, what reels, what line I use. I just want to go through that with you so that if you're thinking about taking a trip to Florida and you want to do some fishing from the beach, from a shoreline, you want to rent a boat, whatever you want to do, what should you take with you to be successful? I'm a normal Midwest style bass, panfish, walleye fisherman, so when it comes to saltwater fishing, I was a novice when I started off, but after going a few years, I've kind of got an idea of the best things to bring to give you the best chance to have luck out fishing, and we'll also be showing you some example videos of catches and how we've used these products to catch more fish. So let's first start with the gear that we're going to bring. So let's talk about rods and reels. So the first thing I would say is you want to be able to travel. You want to be able to take a fishing rod with you, maybe even pack luggage on an airplane, or easily stowed in the back of the van if you're driving all the way. So I really like the Cabela's Tourney Trail IM8 spinning rod. They're three-piece rod. You can fit this in a large piece of luggage, go on the airplane with you. And that kind of a medium action, kind of all in dock fishing style, shoreline fishing style, gets you into a lot of action for snappers and whatever else you might run into, little barracudas, all sorts of cool stuff. And I like to pair that up with a saltwater ready spinning reel. And what I would say, don't bring your bass equipment, your freshwater equipment to fish in the salt. The first thing you're going to do is accidentally get it wet, drop it in the sand, whatever it is, and it's going to be ruined for life. So you want to get this. This is a pin tight line. It's a very value sensitive spinning rod or spinning reel, and we really like it. So, and we've got this paired up with Suffix 832 20-pound test braided line. So that combination gets it done. We will add, and I'll show you here, we'll add a CR Blue Label leader on that, because when ocean fishing, one of the things that I will point out is that fish are super finicky, and because especially if you're in clear water areas like around the Florida Keys or anywhere where you have good water visibility, fish know what they want to eat, and they know to stay away from things that look like hooks and jigs and stuff. The other thing that we love to do, and another pole that if you're into this that you would want to bring along with you, is a rod for big game. And we're talking about sharks, tarpon, something exciting. If you want to go for big game fishing, then there is one rod that we would so highly recommend. And this is the Tsunami Trophy Series 7-foot, 30 to 40 pound test line series 1 to 6 ounce bait travel rod. And it is a multi-piece rod. It is a beautiful rod, and we're going to show an example of how we catch sharks from shore using that. And we pair it up with what we think is the best all-in saltwater spinning reel for big game. When you're looking for shark fishing, a big, beefy spinning reel is what you're needing. And this is the Daiwa BG, or Daiwa Big Game spinning reel. And this one is the 4500 series. It's got plenty of drag. It's got plenty of line capacity. We use Power Pro Super Slick advanced line, 40-pound test is what we have on it right now. But this right here is money. Another reel that we like to bring as backup for that rod is the Offshore Angler Frigate, and this is the 5000 series reel. Another beautiful reel. They really look fairly similar. They act great, but you add that to the Tsunami travel rod, and you've got something for small game, and you got something for big game. And we like to show an example. We're going to tag in the video a video of us using these rods to catch bait and then catch sharks. And that is something we really like to do. And here's the fishing joke of the day. Have you seen the new fishing website yet? No, it's not online yet. Back to the action. Now, let's jump into equipment. What are we going to bring as far as bait? So first off, we like to pack it in these cool flambeau style rust proof or rust stopping tackle boxes, because salt water rusts things quickly. So in here, things that we like to bring to fish with. First off, fish, you've got to kind of have an idea of what you want to fish for, or be prepared to do a couple basic things. So number one, if you like fishing for something that you're going to want to eat or use as bait, then really all you need is a normal bait keeper hook, and then you're going to buy shrimp, bait quality shrimp, and cut chunks of it and thread the shrimp onto the hook till you can't see it anymore. So you just thread it up, hide the hook as much as you possibly can, and dump it off to the side under pier pilings and whatever, and you're going to catch all sorts of fun fish and have a blast and get something to eat or stuff to use for bait for shark fishing. Now, if you want to go after some toothy critters, I've got a couple options, things that I really like. The first bait, and this is kind of an odd thing because this is coming out of freshwater world, is the little Cleo. The little Cleo spoon. It works great. It travels well in shallow water. It's got good flash. It's got good things going on for it. I'll tell you that you catch all sorts of different species with a bait like this. Now just remember that you're going to lose this because the little barracudas will snap the line. So you may want to do like a wire leader, or at least a swivel snap that gives something to block contact with the line. But also remember that you're using some stronger fluorocarbon so that a snapper or a grouper or something like that won't break the line. Also some jointed style swim baits like this will do pretty good. We also really like the Cast King spoons. These Castmaster or Cast King style spoons. You can launch them a long way and let them flutter up and down in the water column, and you can catch a bunch of different fish with that. Another bait I like to use is a hair jig. Nice heavy headed hair jig like this, either blue, I've got a black and gray, I've got a pink color, and I like using those especially more for the game style fish like a sea trout or a permit, or really just kind of anything that's a little bit bigger class of fish. These hair jigs work really good. You can cast them a long way, work them deep or work them shallow quickly, and find those active fish. Now let's talk about one other, a soft plastic that we like to bring, and the soft plastics would be a minnow imitator or a small swim bait like that. And we like to pair those up with a Berkeley Fusion swim jig head. So stuff like that is going to be money for just, again, chucking and winding and just looking for active fish. What you're going to find a lot of times, especially if you're shore fishing, is that fish are going to move in, they're going to be there for a while, and then they're going to move out. And then you'll just have to wait for something else to come in. So being patient and just casting in the same spot over and over again and kind of letting those fish move through the currents is a big key there. But let's talk about, we talked about the shark rod. What do you bring to fish for sharks? Well, that setup is pretty simple. So we always take several of these because undoubtedly you're going to lose them. You're going to get them snagged, or they might break off. But a circle hook and a wire leader. We like to get the combos. You can get a bunch of them online for not very expensive. Strong enough to catch fish, big enough hook to hook through the back of a chunk of fish or squid or bait of any type, the bloodier the better, because sharks are a lot like catfish. They're all scent oriented. They're going to circle the bait, smelling it, and find it. If you're in current, then what we're going to add to that system is a heavy, like a 2-ounce weight here and a giant swivel. And then we will add some fluorocarbon leader material before we put the actual wire material there. So we use that in case there's heavy wind or heavy current in that situation. You can get down on the bottom and keep the bait still, because if the bait's moving, the shark won't find it. So that, for the most part, is what we bring. But for the most part, you're going to be fishing with the spoons, or you're going to be fishing with a swim style bait, or you're going to be fishing with just a plain hook and letting a piece of shrimp sink down the water column. You may add a split shot weight or a small weight above this just to get it down to the bottom if the fish are kind of deep. But the smaller and the least amount of stuff that fish is going to see out there, the better. Now, what else should you bring? Now, one big difference between fishing in the Midwest for bass and bluegill is that the fish are a little different in the ocean. So, one, we've already talked about that they're very sensitive to seeing things in the water that shouldn't be there. So that's a big deal. But they also are stronger, faster, beefier fish. So that's why we're using a little bit heavier tackle. We're using a little bit heavier line. We need big drag ability, especially for sharks. If you can get a big fish and you're on the shore, you got to be able to stop it before it spools you. And that's a big deal. So that's why you got the big tsunami rod, you got the big game series Daiwa reel. Those things have the ability to turn a fish. But what happens when you get a shark or a barracuda or a snapper? They all have teeth. And they're all mean, or a needlefish. You need a long set of needle nose pliers. That's a minimum requirement. And I'd also suggest a nice pair of fish grips. You really don't want to mess with a fish with a razor blade in its mouth. That's a big deal. So those two things right there are going to make your day. Also, we'll never travel anywhere when fishing without our super snips for easy line cutting and just trimming and all that stuff. So super snips are always a must. But we want you to have as much fun as possible out on the water. If you're going to Florida, fish in the ocean, you're going to have some fun, these tips will help you catch more. So I hope these and the videos that we're linking and showing you along this discussion are going to help you have a better time, catch more fish, maybe catch a memory or two on your way, and have a blast while doing it. So with that, pound that like button. If you found this interesting or helpful in any way, we'd love for you to pound that like button. Help us get to 10, 20, 30 likes with this. With your help, you can get there. Drop us a comment. We would love to talk more about this, what to pack, what to prepare for. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Check out Reese Life Dad Life as well, and we hope to have you have more success while saltwater fishing on your vacations, and we'll see you next time out on the water.